live from Rocky River, Ohio. Welcome on into the bullpen. I am your host, Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. If you're not using the Bet Rivers app, you are missing out. Get with the program today for all the money lines, point spreads, futures, prop bets. Speaking of which, my prop bet on Sunday, was that yesterday? I can't keep track of the days anymore. 2 days ago, I got 3 right, but I lost the 4th. Didn't get the Mobley point, so that was a loser. Hopefully, I'll have a winner for you tomorrow for Game 2. I'll have another same-game parlay. We'll get to Game 2 and the Cavs Heat later in the podcast, and also I'll talk about my first trip to Progressive Field of 2025, which I went to last night, and a nice Guardians victory over the dreaded Yankees. That's all coming up a little bit later. But we begin. We are now less than 70 hours, if my math is correct, and that's questionable, right? 24 hours would take us to Wednesday at 9 a.m. 48 hours. Well, it's true, we're less than 70. I meant to say less than 60. 48 hours would put us to Thursday at 9 a.m., and then another 11 hours after that, the draft starts. So we are 59 hours away from the draft starting. Do we know for sure who the Browns are going to take? We think we do. I think at this point, we're all completely convinced that the Browns are going to take Travis Hunter. I know I've thought that way for a while. I know I've been okay with that for a while. Even though for weeks I was saying, this is crazy, you got to draft Shadeur Sanders. I've been on many rants about, and we've talked about this before. You see the odds right there. Second overall pick, Travis Hunter, minus 1,000. That's, and by the way, it's not because the guys who are making the odds for us have inside information. They have the same information that we do. And so they're going where the wind's blowing too. So everybody thinks it's going to be Travis Hunter. I know after pounding the table for quarterback for all the time, I've been convinced, maybe wrongly, that there is not a quarterback in this draft worth selecting it to. And once and even that, I would normally say take a chance anyway. Take a chance anyway. You can't win without a quarterback. That remains true. Nothing has changed in my mind about not being able to win without a quarterback. You can't win without a quarterback, not on any kind of high level. Every so often, every few years, there's a team or two that'll get into the playoffs with subpar quarterback play. We saw it with the Browns 2 years ago. Even though Joe Flacco played better at the end of the season, for the most part that year, they had subpar quarterback play. But those teams never do anything in the playoffs. Not now. Yeah, 20 years ago, we all saw it. I guess some would even argue the year Nick Foles won the Super Bowl for Philadelphia. However, while Nick Foles has been basically a bum in his career, Nick Foles in that postseason played great. And as much as you could say, well, they didn't need a great quarterback. Well, no, they didn't in that case. But they still needed great quarterback play. If Nick Foles played like Nick Foles has every other time in his career, the Eagles would not have even gone to the Super Bowl, let alone won it. So the idea of still being able to win with a Trent Dilfer, with a quarterback that's throwing more picks than touchdowns, with a Jim McMahon, in their Super Bowl year wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great. You can't win that way anymore. Those days are done, okay? So ultimately, until you've solved the quarterback situation, you have nothing. Now, that doesn't, I shouldn't say nothing, but you're still a ways to go. That doesn't mean you take a quarterback to take a quarterback. It's like, there's part of me that is like, well, you take a chance on Shadeur Sanders, because if Shadeur is good, that's better than having a great player anywhere else. And in most cases, that's true. But as the years have gone by, I know some will try to argue against this, but the quality of the quarterback has just become even more and more imperative. You can't even get, like, I thought maybe 10 years ago you could get away with an average quarterback. I think that, and what makes it so hard to win without a great quarterback, or at least a very good one, is that it's hard, at least consistently, is that it's hard to keep to have a defense that's great. You have to keep a lot of players together. So it's hard to do that. Whereas the offense, mostly it's about the quarterback. Certainly it's about the talent around him, but such a percentage on one player as opposed to defense, right? Myles Garrett is as good as any player in football. He's as good, if not better, than any defensive player in football and has been for a number of years. And that hasn't led to Browns victories. He's gotten to the playoffs twice. He's won one playoff game. I don't blame him, but I'm just saying it doesn't, the top quarterbacks, a higher percentage of them are going to have success in the playoffs because they control more than the great defensive player. It's that simple. Now, all that being said, fairly or not, I've been convinced that the difference between Shadeur Sanders and the other quarterbacks in this draft outside of Cam Ward is negligible. And if that's the case, then you say, okay, well, if there's 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks that are about the same, none of them are spectacular. You're taking a chance on any of them. You're hoping for a lottery ticket to some degree. Well, then if that's the case, I can get them later. So I have to take once quarterback's out of the mix, and this is why it's been so obvious to me that you have to take Travis Hunter. And for a while, and I know there's still some people that want to take Abdul Carter. And I'm not even saying Abdul Carter is not going to be a very good player. He probably will, just like Travis Hunter will. But ultimately, when you've decided you're not taking a quarterback in that spot, and I apologize for having to wipe my nose on air, but these things happen sometimes, folks. You all do it too, just not on camera. Once quarterback is out of the mix, and again, we don't know with 100% certainty. If the Browns took Shadeur Sanders, I'd be surprised, not shocked. You never know. But once you've decided quarterback is out of there, then it's simply, I got to take the best player. And in my mind, with Travis Hunter, you're getting 2 players, or at least 1.5. And he's the most talented player in the draft. I just don't get the discussion. And again, it's not really a knock at Abdul Carter. I have made the point that he's only done it for 1 year, as opposed to Hunter, who's done it for multiple years. But even beyond that, even if you think Hunter and Carter are of equal talent at their positions, one guy can play two spots, and one guy can't. It's that simple. So once you've moved off a quarterback, which I have, and I think the Browns have, at 2, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. You take a guy who can impact winning as much, if not more, than any non-quarterback in the league. And if he could do both, then that's it. I mean, if he's doing both, or he's playing offense, as a starter and a defensive player, 10 to 15 snaps, some special team snaps, whatever it may be, that's a weapon nobody else can use. Nobody else in the league will have that. And you will potentially gotten 2 superstars, or again, at least 1.5 superstars in one player with the second pick in the draft. And then what will happen at 33? That comes down to, what do the Browns truly think about the rest of the quarterbacks? If they don't take a quarterback at 2, they don't think any of these quarterbacks are sure things. So I know a lot of people are convinced the Browns are going to trade up and try to get back into the 20s, maybe ahead of Pittsburgh, or somebody else in those mid-20s. I am far from convinced of that, because if they thought it was that imperative to get that quarterback before Pittsburgh, then they would take him at 2, if they were that sure about it. So if the Browns don't take a quarterback at 2, which again seems likely, but I don't know that that's based on any facts at all. In fact, it's not. Or at least no facts that I or 99.99% of you are aware of, then it signals to me that they're not convinced, and I don't see them being, rightly or wrongly, I don't see them being desperate enough to trade back into the 20s for a quarterback they passed on earlier in the draft. If they wanted that guy that bad, they would take him at 2. I know that seems a little, some people who are not as obsessed with quarterbacks as I am might not feel that way, but to me, it's crystal clear. Because you'd have to give up a lot. Now, if they trade, I saw one mock draft or something that had the Browns trading up to 29. That's a different story. You're not giving up a first rounder next year to move from 33 to 29. I don't think. I wouldn't. I don't think they will. So maybe a couple of spots, but I don't see them trading up ahead of Pittsburgh. I just think that's very likely. You have to get that high, you'd have to give up a first round pick next year. And again, I don't see the Browns loving any of these quarterbacks that much that they would pass on two and then give up a first rounder next year to get up to 20. It just doesn't compute. It doesn't compute to me at all. So I think the Browns will be patient. If I had to bet, I say they stick at 33. I know everybody's convinced they're going to trade up. I'm not, like I said. And again, if they do, I think it'll only be a couple of spots. But and a lot of this depends on, I think we've all decided as a collective unit, as a group think, shared brain type of situation, that the Browns are going to take Travis Hunter at 2 and then take a quarterback at 33 or around 33. I don't know that the Browns feel that way, especially about the 33 pick. They may not think any of these quarterbacks are any good at all. So if they think they're all mediocre or career backups, well, I'm not taking that guy at 33. That's a valuable pick. If I don't think the quarterbacks are any good, then I won't take them there either. Now, I've convinced myself, like with Travis Hunter, with everybody else, that there's a good chance they will take a quarterback there. It depends who they like. It depends where they go. And it depends what they think the potential ceiling is for the quarterback that they would take at 33 or around 33. Jalen Milroe's been the hot topic. I know some people like Jackson Dart. We've talked about Tyler Shuck before. His name's come up a lot. I think the concern there is the age, obviously, and the injury history. I think Jalen Milroe has the upside and the athletic ability. You see there, second quarterback drafted. Shadeur Sanders minus 265, Jackson Dart plus 210, Jalen Milroe plus 600, and Cam Ward plus 5,000. Yeah, that'd be a shocker if one of those other guys went first and then Cam Ward ended up being 2. It's interesting that I'm sure Tyler Shuck is on there, but that Shadeur Sanders is obviously the favorite to go as the second quarterback, but the fact that Shuck is not even on our list there, as opposed to, those other guys. Obviously, he has lower odds. But and again, that's just feels the way the wind is blowing. It does seem like Shadeur's going to go 2. Although I think there's some people think Jackson Dart could go 2, or even Jalen Milroe. But probably in the end, Shadeur Sanders goes 2 amongst quarterbacks, and then Milroe and Dart are 3 and 4. If the Browns think that Milroe, Dart, or even or let's say Shuck 2, they think they like them all, don't love any of them, like them all, think they all have potential to be good. Well, then you sit at 33. If they think it, and I've heard that the Browns have interest in Jalen Milroe from somebody that would have a good feel for that. They definitely like him, but it's not a sure thing. It's certainly not. I wouldn't bet my house that they're going to draft Jalen Milroe or that that's the guy they like the most, but I do confidently believe they like him enough to trade up. I don't think so. Or not up to 20 or in the teens. And if they don't take a quarterback, let's say that's off the table. Let's say they like Sanders, they take him, and they like Milroe, and both those guys are gone before they either can trade up or it comes to 33. Well, then you're talking about a completely different game. I mean, because all our speculation has been for a month now has been Hunter and then a quarterback. We haven't talked much about, well, if they don't like a quarterback or they can't get one of the guys they like, what are they going to do with that 33rd pick? And at that point, it's wide open. At that point, a smart team is going to take the best player and not worry about position. To me, it's always about the best player. The quarterback is the only one that changes the math for me at all. But, at 33, if they're not going quarterback, I could see them taking I mean, I could see them taking an offensive lineman. I could see them taking a running back, not a wide receiver, because I'm assuming Travis Hunter goes. So I could see an offensive lineman. I could see a running back at 33. I could see a tight end at 33. There's some nice tight ends in this draft. I could see a pass rusher, a defensive tackle. I mean, those would probably be the top things. But not much would surprise me if the Browns don't take a quarterback at 33, that in terms of what position they might go. We got a poll up right now on the chat. Should the Browns draft a quarterback at number 2? See, my problem with this poll is the no says build the roster first. The no should not be about building the roster first. The no should be because you don't think any of the quarterbacks are good enough. Right now, the results 59% no, 57% no, 31% trade down, pick a quarterback later. Trade down from the second pick? I don't like that at all. I'm not trading down. I'm taking Travis Hunter. 11% says take the quarterback now. 0% say wait until 2026. All right, get some reaction from the fans here. Marketville, take Hunter at 2, trade back up and get Milroe, take Scattaboo in the 3rd, and Fannin Jr. with the other 3rd. Everybody's obsessed with the Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green. I keep seeing every Browns fan has him in their mock draft. If the Browns have to trade back up to get Milroe, they're not going to have both of their 3rd-round picks. They would have to trade at least one of those. So that would be tough. 05er, good morning, Browns and Cavs fan. It's in YouTube, Bull. I'm questioning myself. Is it a risk to take a receiver at 2 when you don't have a quarterback? I don't think it's a risk to take a receiver, but until you get a quarterback, it'd be hard to maximize his value. However, Joe Flacco, at least for part of the season, will be able to use him, I think, very well. I don't think there's any doubt about it that Joe Flacco can get Travis Hunter being a big-time weapon. Daniel says, good morning, Bull and fellow viewers. Travis Hunter and Milroe. 0 says, I predict an offensive lineman in the 2nd round. Diesel, Hunter and Milroe set a new tone with 2 hardworking, explosive athletes. I want to dig down on that a little bit, Diesel, because I like what you're saying there. You know, you've heard the expression many times. You can't have all choir boys on a team, right? In this case, we'll talk specifically football, but just in general. And I get it. In any walk of life, you know, we're obsessed with off the field stuff because it affects our team and it's in the public eye. In every walk of life, there's going to be a percentage of staff that are bad guys or troubled guys, right? People that make bad choices. And yes, you can't if you scratch off every guy with questionable character on your list, then it's going to be tricky, right? You can't just write off every person. There's got to be some nuance to it. Okay, this guy's made some bad choices, but his immaturity, whatever, or this guy's a bad guy. I mean, I think there's a difference there. The Browns, to me, have completely ignored character concerns. It's something the Bengals have done for many years. They had gotten better at that in recent years, and no surprise they had more success. They did a bad job with that again last year. The Bengals reverted to their ways. They took a wide receiver, Jermaine Burton, bad, low-character guy, and he showed it right away. A wasted draft pick, I think. And the Browns have done the same in recent years. They have starting with Kareem Hunt and Deshaun Watson, and I'm not going to relitigate these situations, but a number of times in the last few years, the Browns have, I think, ignored character concerns. I think too often. And when you have a team, let's face it, the Browns don't have great leadership on the roster. Their best players have been quiet guys. They're more lead by example. You know, Nick Chubb's not a rah-rah guy. Neither is Myles Garrett. I don't want to call Nick Chubb a bad leader because he's not. There's nothing bad about Nick Chubb at all. But some of the other guys have not been the best leaders. And Nick Chubb's not a vocal leader. He's clearly a great leader in terms of, showing you the path to being a pro and a great guy, a great person. But I think not only is it important for the Browns to get good players, but I think if you draft Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe, you are not only drafting a guy in Travis Hunter who could become one of the greatest football players of all time. That's how highly I think of him. With a skill set that we've maybe never seen in the history of the game. And you're drafting Jalen Milroe, who, again, an immense athlete, a lot of talent, certainly no short thing compared to Travis Hunter. Otherwise, he'd be the first pick in the draft. There's flaws in his game, no doubt. Questions about his long-term viability as a starter in the league. A lot of coaching needed there. However, there's a lot of talent with him. With Travis Hunter, the talent is, just off the charts. And what you also get with both of these guys is A++ character, leadership, intelligence, effort, attitude, like all A++. These are, we've said for many years, I've said for many years, if you had 53 Nick Chubbs, you'd win a lot of football games. And the Browns haven't had any Nick Chubbs, or not enough. These guys are, I'm not going to compare them to Nick Chubb on the field because neither plays running back, and they haven't taken the NFL field at all. But both of these guys have that type of character and work ethic. It appears, by all accounts. All accounts. Again, I don't know guys personally. I don't know Nick Chubb personally. But by all accounts, these are two top-notch football players, and Travis Hunter, top-notch is not strong enough, and two top-notch people. And the Browns need some guys like that. And when it works with the talent, the need to some degree, and the person, it's a perfect situation. Let's see. Eric says, Travis is ultimately the pick. There's no reason to take anyone else. 2 9.0s is better than 110. Yeah, I've said that, something similar to that. I agree, Eric. 10, he will be special. 0-5er, if they play Hunter both spots, I am in. Let's see. 0-5er, can they get 2 number 1 picks for trading the second pick? Probably not. Well, I guess it depends how far they drop. I'm not interested in trading the second pick. Abel, being solely a baseball fan in Cleveland is miserable. Stand by, Abel. No, it doesn't have to be miserable, and I'm about to talk about the Guardians. Eric says Hunter at 2, quarterback at 33, running back at 67, tight end at 94. That's a lot of offensive addressings. I like it. Salish, really hope Barry doesn't screw this up. Yeah, I think we're all hopeful there. Brian Monzo says they should take Jacob Fatu if he's there. Monzo would like them to draft hockey players, I think. Eddie says, how long do you think the Browns have to wait before drafting guys with character concerns again? I could still do that, but later in the draft. I'm not drafting a guy high on the board with character concerns. Not now. Running SoCal. Take Hunter and grab a solid running back in the later rounds. All right, I want to go back to Abel's. He says, solely being a baseball fan in Cleveland is miserable. I get it. We don't talk as much Guardians in this town as we should. But I'll tell you, between my podcast, UCSS, and the Ultimate Cleveland Guardian Show, which I host with Zach Meisel, we're doing plenty of Guardians. So I will talk about the Guardians now. We're going to talk about the Guardians on UCSS today as well. Guardians won their 4th straight, beating the Yankees last night 6-4. You see, they've improved to 13-9 in the season. They have won, I believe, 10 of 13 as well. So playing much better after a very sloppy start to the season. 13-9, half game back of Detroit for first in the American League Central. Royals 5 back. Again, it's early. I don't want to get caught up in the standings. But I went to my first game of the year last night and had a great time. Thank the Guardians, as always, taking great care of me. And I had great seats. Took the family. My in-laws were in town. Took my son and his buddy Teddy. They had a fantastic time. My son caught a T-shirt from one of the girls that are throwing the T-shirts up on the top of the dugout, and it was perfect weather for me at least. I know, my mother-in-law and my wife were a little cold, but to me it was perfect weather. Me and the kids, and Guardians got up to a 6-0 lead. They held on there. I mean, the end of that game. That's what it's all about, man. If you were at that game last night, there were a lot of Yankee fans, which is, always it's always obnoxious when you see Yankee fans. I'll be honest though, I thought the Yankee fans last night were not bad. At least the ones I mean, there were a lot of Yankee fans near me. Nobody was being a jerk. Now the Guardians were winning, so maybe that was why. But exciting ending to the game. Aaron Judge at the plate, 2 on, 2 out. I'm sorry, 1 on, 2 out against Cade Smith, who got the chance to close last night. He gave up the hit to, I can't remember who got the hit in the ninth. It was whoever was batting ninth. Rice pinch hit, and then I can't remember who got the hit in the ninth, who was batting the 9-hole. I'm drawing a blank. Not Pablo Lopez. I think it might have been Cabrera. He gets the hit, and I'm like, I said to my wife, shit. That means Aaron Judge is going to get up unless they get a double play. They did not. Got Wells. But, I mean, you could tell Cade Smith, after the struggles that the Guardians had against the Yankees from the bullpen in the playoffs last year, Cade Smith was fired up to pitch to Aaron Judge. I mean, he was throwing gas. He looked like he was throwing even harder. I actually wasn't looking at the miles per hour because I was so caught up in the moment of that matchup to know if he was throwing harder there. I should probably go double check it, but it seemed like he had a little something extra on those pitches. And the strike, I know it's the regular season, I know it's April, I get it, but to see Cade Smith strike out Aaron Judge as the tying run to end the game, that was a lot of fun. It was a great performance. I know a lot of people are going to say, make Smith the closer, and that might happen at some point. Clase was obviously unavailable last night. He had pitched 3 days in a row. He'd thrown like 30 pitches on Sunday. So you knew it would either be Cade Smith or Hunter Gaddis. They went with Smith. Gaddis didn't pitch yesterday. I will say, and I know he ended up giving up 2 runs in the 7th, which had to be frustrating. But I was really impressed with Gavin Williams last night. Obviously, while I think the Yankees' lineup is a little overrated, there's still some dangerous hitters in that lineup. And in the first inning, I was worried that Williams was going to be out of this game early. He had no command in the first inning. Rocchio makes an error. He walks 2 batters in that inning, but gets a double play. The pitch count, I want to say, was about 25 in the first inning. Let's see, 12, 16. Goldschmidt walked 23, maybe even more than that. Yeah, 26. So Gavin Williams threw 26 pitches in the first inning against the Yankees, who are generally a patient team. And I'm thinking, okay, the Guardians will be lucky if he gets through 4. Now, he didn't give up any runs, 3 base runners, 2 walks. His command was off. He threw a lot of balls. I want to say he threw 12, 13 balls in that first inning. But he really locked in after that, and ends up going 6 in the 3rd. Now he gives up a 1 out. No, it was a leadoff hit in the 7th, and then he gives up the home run to Jazz Chisholm. No. I'm sorry. It was Dominguez with the home run. Chisholm hit the home run against Seawald. But and the final line looks still really good. But I thought it was one of the best performances he's had, period, in his time with Cleveland. 6 in the 3rd, 9 base runners, 2 runs, 8 Ks. His command, after he walked 2 guys in the first inning, and that was it. And yeah, he sprinkled some hits there, but for the most part, they played good defense behind him outside of the Rocchio error, turned some double plays, and to throw 26 pitches in the first inning against the Yankees, and then only throw another 78 pitches the rest of the way. Still get 1 out in the 7th. I like that it was funny, the guy who was the hot dog guy, he saw me. I got hot dogs for the family, and he saw me, and he recognized me, and so we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I was a little surprised they left him in for the 7th, and I was like, you want to see him try to get through 7. Pitch count was reasonable. He's like, yeah, I would have gotten mad if they would have taken him out. So I think a lot of people felt that way. Paul Seawald got 4 outs. He replaced Williams, got 2 outs to get out of the inning. Then got the first 2 outs of the seventh or the eighth, and then he gave up a hit, and then he gave up the home run. That was a bomb off the bat of Chisholm. But they brought Cantillo in, and he walked the first batter, then got the strikeout, and then I talked about Cade Smith. I like what I've seen from Joey Cantillo, by the way. I think he's done a nice job. Jose with his 5th home run. That was a bomb off the bat. He just missed a homer in the first inning, and then he hit the 3-run shot off of Schmidt in the third. Back-to-back home runs as Manzardo goes yard as well. Stephen Kwan had 2 hits in the game, scored a couple of runs, stole his third base. But it was Gavin Williams and Jose Ramirez were the stars of the show. And then Cade Smith and Manzardo with a little supporting cast action. Good to see Rocchio get a couple of hits in this one. Got hit by a pitch, too, so he got on base 3 times, which is good for him because he's obviously struggled to get on base. Bo Naylor continues to scuffle. On base under 300. Oof. Angel Martinez got another 2 hits in this one. So good game for the Guardians. They win 6-4. They'll try to continue their winning ways, try to extend their winning streak to 5 when they play the Yankees again tonight at 6:10. Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams bounced back with his best start of the year. Hopefully Bybee can do the same. He has struggled his last few times out. He'll face Will Warren. And then they'll wrap up the series tomorrow afternoon with Luis Ortiz against Carlos Rodon. And then the Red Sox come to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A couple of comments here. What do we got before I wrap up with some Cavs? Abel says, we don't necessarily need Class A to be Class A. We need someone to be Class A, and Smith is really showing up, especially after last night. I find some comfort that we can rely on someone in that spot. If Rocchio sits the rest of the series, how do you see us setting up the lineup? Yeah, he did. He got hit in the hand with a pitch late in the game. He stayed in the game initially, but then he eventually came out for a pinch runner, so we'll keep an eye on his status. I think if that's the case, I think you'll see now Lane Thomas, who has obviously struggled, he has not been starting. I think if Rocchio can't go, we'll probably see Arias at short, and Angel Martinez will play second, and then Lane Thomas will play center. Definitely be the case tomorrow because Rodon's a lefty. Tonight they're facing a righty, and obviously Lane Thomas has really struggled against righties, so we'll see what they do. But I would think that could be the alignment tonight. Jason says Andrew Berry doesn't think like us. Diesel says, thanks for the shout-out, Bull. I would like to think Hunter Milroe will resonate with a city like Cleveland and will infect our locker room with their attitude and work ethic. I hope so. 05er, what are the odds the Browns don't take Hunter or Carter or Sanders? I mean, the only way they don't do that is if they trade down, I assume. If they take another player, I'd fall off my chair. Nobody needs that. And Daniel says, a quiet killer for this Browns team is the declining offensive line. They got to draft some solid big guys up front. I was just at PNC on Saturday night. Very fun night. Guardians beat on Skeens a bit. Yeah, that was one of the worst performances by Skeens. He was not, it was terrible. He's not, I don't know he's ever been terrible. But he wasn't dominant. He wasn't striking. And the Guardians are a tougher team than most to strike out, but I thought they handled them pretty well. It's a great ballpark. I don't blame their fans for being pissed. The Browns' offensive line is an issue also, no doubt about it. But they've done a bad job drafting offensive linemen the last couple of years. At least that's the way it looks so far. Finally, looking ahead to Game 2 for the Cavaliers and the Heat. They'll play, of course, tomorrow night. I'll have a same-game parlay for you that I will put out tomorrow morning. Cavs are a 12-point favorite at Bet Rivers. On the money line, they're minus 670. Obviously, overwhelming favorites there to win Game 2. The over-under is 213, as you see on the screen. What a slap in the face to the Cavaliers that this game is on NBA TV. I mean, total disgrace. Teams are the best team in the East all year. You put them on NBA TV. I mean, the broadcast was bad enough last time, and who the hell's doing this game? Cavs are minus 10,000 to win the series, obviously. Plus 175 to win the East. The Celtics are minus 167. Cavs remain the third choice to win the NBA title. It's down to plus 500, though, with the Thunder being at plus 150 and the Celtics at plus 175. The Warriors actually fourth choice. Big drop to plus 1,400. Cavs should be good to go. I think Donovan Mitchell's fine. I know he got a little banged up with the ankle there. We were all a little nervous about it. But it seems like he's going to be fine, good to go in Game 2. So we'll look forward to that. That's if I can remember where the hell I have NBA TV on where the hell I'm going to figure that out. So we'll figure it out. All right, thanks, everybody, for joining me today. Hope you're enjoying the live shows with a little extra here, extra time. My next Bet Rivers podcast will be tomorrow night, Wednesday night, immediately or soon after the Cavs and Heat finish Game 2. I'll be doing 2 podcasts on Thursday, the regular 9 a.m. slot with Dustin, and then probably around 11:30 midnight, I will join you live following the draft. You see it there. Join me live. We'll react to that. When the first round is over, I'll jump on. We'll react to that. Until then, I'll also see you on UCSS today and every day this week. We'll see you next time. Thanks to Z and Max for producing. I'm Adam the Bull. This is the Bullpen. Goodbye.